than from her own team.
One viral commentator put it bluntly.
Salute to Ag Nation for bringing that to everybody's attention.
There's more concern shown for players on other teams than when Caitlin gets punked, Aaliyah gets hit, or Sophie gets slammed. It's weird. It's embarrassing. And yet, despite her underwhelming play, Howard continues to get big minutes, while players like Sophie Cunningham, who actually care, are left on the bench. Even worse, fans believe this loyalty to Howard is tied directly to Stephanie White, the head coach who previously coached her in Connecticut. It's not about merit, it's about politics. This is where the damage becomes clear. By keeping veterans who aren't invested, and by pushing out players who were, the fever sat. And let's talk about coaching, because Stephanie White was handed the keys to a Ferrari, and then asked it to drive like a tractor. Her system, if you can even call it that, is straight out of the old WNBA playbook. Slow pace, static offense, and a clear refusal to let Caitlin do what she does best: run, push tempo, and light up defenses from anywhere on the court. Multiple analysts called it puke ball. One even said, she took the best offense post-Olympic break and handed it to the coach who ran the worst offense in the league. It's basketball malpractice. This isn't just poor strategy, it's sabotage.
We're now stuck with vomit basketball for multiple years, and we're going to see increasingly decline WNBA.
For weeks, fans speculated something was off with the Indiana Fever, but now Sophie Cunningham has confirmed it. The locker room is fractured, and the team is drifting apart when Caitlin Clark needs them the most. In her post-game press conference, Sophie didn't hold back. She said plainly,
Sophie Cunningham, in the post-game interview, speaks on this team and the islands within the locker room.
"We have our own islands." That phrase hit like a bombshell.
I think that we've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own island.
It wasn't just about basketball. It was about disconnected teammates, lack of unity, and no one stepping up to lead.
Everybody's on their own little island.
On a
WNBA ratings.
Caitlin's entire college identity was about pace, spacing, and creative freedom. But under White's system, she's often stranded at the top of the key, while teammates chuck up contested shots with 17 seconds left on the shot clock. Even worse, the few plays where she and Aaliyah Boston run pick and rolls, the only moments the offense truly works, those get shut down too. You can literally see the team succeed when they ditch the coach's plan and follow their instincts. But that only happens in flashes because structure suffocates them again and again. And don't think fans haven't noticed. The frustration isn't just on YouTube. It's in the stands. It's online. It's in post-game interviews where Caitlin's face says,
Sophie Cunningham goes in the post-game press conference and confirms what we've all known all along.
We've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own islands.
This locker room is split, and she uses the term different islands going on in this locker room.
Sophie literally says, there's a little thing going on in the locker room.
That's not good. That's not good to hear.
Just moments ago, Sophie Cunningham broke the silence. And what she revealed about the Indiana Fever locker room should concern every Caitlin Clark fan.
There's one really concerning thing that Sophie Cunningham said.
I think that we've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own island.
It's been a disaster. The good teams can keep the locker room together.
Fractured chemistry. Zero protects more than her words ever could.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP. She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
Tired, beaten up, disappointed, still professional, but more and more isolated. She was promised a franchise ready to compete. What she got was a fractured locker room, questionable veterans, a coach from the past, and a front office asleep at the wheel. And speaking of that front office, Amber Cox and Kelly Kroskoff are now facing major backlash for this mess.
Amber Cox and Kelly Kroskoff, you frauds. You absolute frauds. You have scammed the fan base.
Fans have accused them of hiding behind Stephanie White while they escape blame. As one furious creator put it, they're like Bart Simpson hiding in the bush and a team falling apart from the inside. Caitlin isn't just fighting opponents, she's fighting alone.
Caitlin Clark is the star player of the WNBA. the most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark.
If you still believe in Caitlin Clark and know she deserves better, drop a 100% in the comments right now. Because after hearing what Sophie just said, this team is in crisis and nobody's shielding their star.
Caitlin Clark is the needle. Caitlin is box office.
Caitlin Clark is the star. Everything else is wrapped around her, and everything else is revolving around her.
She's Rookie of the Year in the
brought to Indiana as a savior. But what she's walked into is a disaster. A team with no clear direction, a locker room in chaos.
Stephanie White is, in fact, trying to turn the Indiana Fever into last year's Connecticut Sun.
And a front office that seems more interested in protecting its own decisions than protecting its star. And what makes it worse? Everyone sees it. Everyone knows it. Let's rewind to April. The Fever selected Caitlin Clark #1 overall, not just because of her skill, but because of the hope she brought. The most watched player in women's basketball history, the face of a new WNBA era.
WNBA rumors suggest Caitlin Clark.
Team built around a generational rookie like Caitlin Clark. That's a red flag waving in front of every fan.
Take care of our locker room.
Woo! You did a shit job at that.
Sophie admitted the team has wavered and they're failing to lean on each other. Translation? Caitlin isn't just being knocked down physically in games. She's not being picked up emotionally either.
Caitlin Clark, plasters over all the cracks. She realistically plasters over all the cracks of this team. This team is not structured well.
The very people who are supposed to have her back can't even get on the same page. Last year, this team had chemistry. Even during losses, the locker room stayed tight.
Even when they were losing games, it seemed like the locker room was in a good spot.
Showed more concern for an opposing player's ankle than she did when Caitlin Clark was on the floor in pain. That's all you need to know. This is deeper than just missed rotations or bad coaching. This is about a culture that's failed to rally around the very player it was supposed to be built on.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right, so she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. Just so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know what? Us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
But this season, Sophie says it's different.
We got no Erica Wheeler. We got no Christy Sides, the chaperone. We got none of that.
The vibes are off. The energy is splintered.
Vibes are good. The vibes do not seem to be good right now.
And multiple creators have pointed out that the Fever's biggest problem isn't just poor play, it's poor culture. One creator said it best. They never said this last year. They always protected the locker room.
They never said that last year. It was never said, she's not questioning the locker room, not saying there's locker room issues, because there's a big difference between a locker room not being super close and there not being issues. And everything about the Fever last year was protect the locker room, protect the locker room, protect the locker room.
Now Sophie's out here waving a red flag. And this isn't a rookie speaking out of turn. It's a veteran. So what did they give her? A broken system, a broken locker room, and teammates who often stand around when she's getting knocked to the floor.
This team is slow, small, and not aggressive outside of Caitlin Clark.
Let's talk about that lack of protection, because it's not just metaphorical, it's literal. Time after time this season, Caitlin Clark has taken hard fouls, elbows, blindsides. And while the fans erupt and cameras zoom in, her teammates do nothing. No one runs up to defend her. No one gets in the ref's face. No one draws a line in the sand. One creator pointed out, Natasha Howard, she took ownership, saying she needs to do a better job grouping people. But that doesn't fix what's already been exposed.
Sophie Cunningham coming out there and effectively saying there's a big difference between her saying there are locker room issues and her saying the locker room maybe isn't where it needs to be.
Caitlin Clark is in a locker room that's not built to support her, emotionally, mentally, or physically.
Team chemistry is an issue, or is maybe not an issue, but isn't a strength off the floor. That is a problem.
And that failure, it's playing out in real time on the court.
It is not looking positive for them to be fixed. We can be honest here. It's not looking positive.
In games where Caitlyn takes hits, you don't see her teammates rushing to defend.
Now they catch themselves in the middle of this weird locker room race war.
There's even talk of a locker room race war.
The social justice warrior island. Yeah, that's right. Brianna Turner on an island all by herself. All by herself, reading her protest books, reading her activism books.
With players feeling caught between social agendas and team loyalty. One analyst went so far as to say, they want to play for Caitlyn, but something's pulling them back, and it's not basketball. That kind of internal division doesn't just make headlines, it destroys seasons. Let's not forget, last year's Fever team was tight. They lost games, but they had heart. They had chemistry. Now, that's gone. And with no Erica